Eric Wimmer here with Wasatch Heat Cable. Hey, I'm up in Island Park today, up in Idaho, and behind me you can see here is a construction project. It looks like someone's building a cabin. It's going to be a great house, I'm sure, but one of the things I've noticed on this is there are no wires coming out of the eave locations. So eave plugs are a critical part to installing heat cable. Probably one of your best and number one choice things to tap into for a power source to run your heat tape. But I want to go through a couple items on the inside of this place to kind of give you guys some ideas of things you can look at when pre-planning for heat cable in Island Park, Idaho, in constructing a cabin or a home up here. All right, this house that's being built is in the framing stages. Oh, well, it's just past the framing stages, and HVAC's gone in, plumbing, along with the electrical is kind of on its way in. But you can see up in the rafters above me, you got a lot of scissor trusses that are kind of creating the roof system. And if you notice, the vaulted ceiling here in the room creates for a shallow or maybe a little more than a shallow attic space. So sometimes it might be difficult to get insulation up in some of these places. If you have a hard time getting insulation up in your roof, there are a lot of times you're going to end up with ice dams and things like that, especially if you can't get that insulation. What happens is the heat loss in the house ends up going up, it accumulates in the attic, melts the underlying snow, and then that works its way out to the eaves. But on the eaves, here's another thing I want to show you. On the eaves, we've got these, out here on the eaves, we've got these blocks that are kind of installed. As you notice up in the pockets, we got a vented one right here, which I'm hoping they've actually installed that to be an air passageway along with this one here. And it looks like they got one over on the end. You've got to allow the air from the outside to come up into the attic. But in a lot of these cases, if you've got these ones right here that are blocking it, you're gonna have a cold eave right there because none of that airflow in the soffit is gonna pass through up into the attic. So what you end up with is this transition point where up in the, let me see if I can get in here in the camera. So up in these zones where the block is, the barrier, it creates this super fast transition point where the warm roof meets with the cold roof, and anything melting off the warm roof is going to end up freezing in the cold roof area. So you end up with ice dams in those areas. Now, this is one way to prevent that, is to allow plenty of airflow from the outside of the roof in the soffit area to flow up into the attic and ventilate out through the top with like turtle vents or gable vents, things like that. So you have to have proper airflow and stuff for the attic to breathe and do what it's got to do. If you don't, and let's say in some cases you can't make that happen, heat cable is definitely a solution to preventing those ice dams from forming on the eaves. So on a home, when you're in the pre-construction stage, doing something like that up in the eaves, allowing the airflow is one. Two, making sure you have power sources in the eaves, running the electrical and putting some dedicated circuits in so that you've got plenty of power to heat up the heat tape, and you let that thing run so it can channel the water off the roof and down to the ground. So hopefully this is helpful. Putting things together in the home and pre-constructing or pre-planning it for the construction process is critical sometimes, and a lot cheaper in the construction process. So make sure you make note of some of those things. If you have questions on any of this stuff, please contact us, Wasatch Heat Cable. Watch for some additional videos that we have as well, and that might give you some ideas of other things you can do on your home. And even if you're in a pickle and you can't do much, maybe some solutions on heat tape ideas and advanced products that we have for high elevation areas. Again, we're up here in Island Park, Idaho. They get a lot of snow up here, and it's great. Snowmobiling mecca of the area. It's awesome. But in that cold time, ice dams do form, and it can be a problem. So hopefully this video has been helpful to you. If you like it, thumbs up us, give us a like, and share our video if you would. But keep posted for additional ones that we've got coming.